Hi, I'm Xiang, and this is my coursework final. My philosophy is anchored in sports for all. From coaching youth to adult, I've seen sport as a lifelong journey, whether learning fundamentals, enjoying recreational play, or competing. For young athletes, I adopt the developmental model of sports participation, focusing on early sampling. This gives them exposure to different skills, reduces burnout and injuries, and keep motivation high. Research shows sampling builds stronger physical literacy and problem solving. Even elite athletes like Federer and LeBron prove late specialization can still lead to world-class success. A core pillar of my philosophy is positive youth development. I emphasize the four C's: competence, confidence, character, and connection. On court, I build competence and confidence through progressive challenges and praise. Beyond sport, I nurture character and connection by teaching discipline, teamwork, and communication. These life skills are transferable, shaping resilient individuals. My influence as a coach extends beyond sport. By creating a supportive environment, I help athletes build a healthy identity and a sense of belonging. I use constructive praise to reinforce effort and persistence, building intrinsic motivation. This approach supports holistic growth physically through safe training, cognitively through problem solving, and effectively through confidence and belonging. Ultimately, my philosophy prepares athletes not just for competition but for life. Sports become the medium that through which they learn discipline, teamwork, and perseverance, qualities that will serve them in schools, relationships, and future careers. In my coaching, I apply two positive youth development concepts: the developmental model of sports participation through early sampling and the four C's of PYD. These frameworks guides athletes to grow holistically while keeping sports enjoyable and sustainable. For early sampling, I use three methods. First, I reduce training load to prevent overuse injuries. Rotating sport spreads demands and keep sessions age appropriate. For example, mixing basketball with football or swimming lowers repetitive stress and keeps athletes motivated. Research by Cote and colleagues shows that early specialization often leads to burnout and injuries, while sampling supports long-term athlete development. Second, I design multi-sports drills to transfer skills. My own background taught me endurance from track, footwork from football, and basketball as my main sport. I now borrow elements across sports so athletes develop versatile abilities that transfer into gameplay. Third, I keep sessions fun and engaging. I use small-sided games and skill contests so training doesn't feel very repetitive. Variety prevents dropout and keep athletes looking forward to practice. Along sampling, I apply the 4Cs framework. For competence, I set progressive challenges like dribbling simple, then under pressure, then against a defender. This step-by-step approach ensures athletes succeed at each stage and stay motivated. For confidence, I use constructive praise and task-oriented goals. Instead of vague feedback, I highlight specific improvements such as awareness before passing. This helps athletes believe in themselves, learn from mistakes, and reduce fear of failure. For character, I co-create team rules and role model sportsmanship. We agree to celebrate effort, respect teammates, and accept mistakes without blame. I also pause during teachable moments to guide athletes towards respect and responsibility. For connections, I build strong relationships through peer mentoring and team-based activities. Pairing athletes across groups encourages cooperation, while personal check-ins show I value them as people, not just players. Verima studies highlight that competence, confidence, character, and connection are key predictors of athletes' persistence and resilience. By combining early sampling and the four C's, I ensure athletes grow physically, cognitively, and socially. This reflects my sports for all philosophy, helping them enjoy sports, stay healthy, and develop life skills beyond the court. In this slide, the one issue that I can anticipate is that a young athlete may have a lack or decline of self-efficacy during a certain activity. And the observation that was noted is the young athlete lack of interest or effort when trying a new sport or activity that does not have relevance to their sport of choice. This will cause the athlete to lose interest and eventually have a chance to drop out of the academy. A deeper analysis into how this issue can worsen is when a coach does not step in to foster a supportive environment during these moments, which may allow the athlete to develop a negative identity where they only feel good when they have a sense of winning, which will affect their effective domain. And from a cognitive perspective, the player might show an issue of transferring their problem solving skills to a new context. Next, if a coach does not address this issue, the athlete may not be able to see how the programs helps develop them to be a better athlete. and they might push for an early specialization instead, which goes against my coaching philosophy and increase the chance of them giving up sport as a whole due to burnout. To address the issue of low self-efficacy, my main solution is to shift our training environment from outcome-based to process-based. This ensures athletes focus on learning and growth rather than just winning. First, I will use a constructive and specific praise instead of generic comments like keep trying. I'll highlight effort and technique. For example, I noticed how you follow the coaching cues. Kemchik, Bates, and Anderson Butcher found that informational feedback creates mastery experiences, which are the strongest source of self-efficacy. This strengthens the affective domain by building confidence and resilience. In practice, athletes feel safe to make mistakes and keep learning. Second, I will set task-oriented goals by breaking drills into small achievable steps. Kimchick explains that visible progress reinforces mastery experiences. This supports the cognitive domain by reducing overload and teaching persistence. In practice, athletes learn problem-solving skills that transfer into skill and daily life. Third, I will use peer learning with effort-based praise. Kimchick also highlight vicarious learning as a pathway to mastery experiences. This strengthens both the affective domain and the social domain. In practice, athletes gain empathy, teamwork, and social capital that they can use beyond sport. In conclusion, these actions help athletes move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. By focusing on mastery, resilience, and connection, they strengthen both the cognitive and affective domains. More importantly, they learn transferable life skills such as persistence, empathy, and teamwork, ensuring they grow not only as athletes but also as confident individuals ready to face challenges beyond sport. In this slide, one team issue that I identify is that the athletes are forming their own clique and not openly interacting with the rest of the team, especially when they are in a multi-sport academy where the athletes are learning new sport skills. The reason why this happens is because athletes feel safer seeking support from similar others. The observation for this issue is that the athletes are only forming and interacting with familiar peers or peers with similar sports background, example, basketball, football during rest breaks or training drills in the early stages of the training as they are just starting to get to know one another and in the stage of forming based on Tuckman's linear theory. This will severely impact the social cohesion and connection of the team and cause a breakdown of trust and communication between them. An analysis into how this can affect the team is that the team will be stuck in the forming stage and not being able to progress while disrupting their sense of belonging to the team, which goes against my coaching philosophy of building them into better teammates. Lastly, the root cause of this issue that I can identify is the athletes comparing between themselves to perform during the training. A basketball player can jump higher than a football player, and the fear of mixing around due to fear or lack of social ability. To address the issue of cliques, my main solution was to shift the mindset from me to we. This reflects my sports for all philosophy and moves a group from the forming stage into the norming stage, where cohesion and teamwork takes shape. The first action is to pair athletes from different backgrounds, such as a basketball player with a football player. This breaks them out of their usual cliques and teach inclusivity and adaptability. Athletes learn to value diverse strengths and collaborate with unfamiliar peers, skills useful both in sports and life. The second action is to set team level goals that require collective success. This shift focus away from individual ranking and unhealthy competition and instead build accountability and shared responsibility. Athletes realize that success depended on cooperation, which strengthen cohesion and prepare them for real-world teamwork. The third action is to use peer mentoring with constructive if effort-based praise. Skilled athletes will guide beginners while I reinforce effort over outcomes. This develop empathy and belonging, strengthen the affective domain and create a supportive environment where everyone felt valued. The fourth action is to establish a clear team identity through shared rules, riches or a motto like one heart, one mind, one team. Identity build pride and belonging, helping athletes commit to something bigger than themselves. This reinforced the we mindset and united the group under a common culture. In conclusion, these four actions help the team transition into the norming stage Athletes not only train together but also grew as disciplined, empathetic individuals who understood the value of belonging and collective identity. This activity is designed for 12-year-old athletes in the prepubescent stage, working in mixed ability pairs. The drill is a chest pass using a medicine ball, aimed at teaching proper technique, building upper body strength and coordination, and promoting teamwork. Athletes will pair up and stand 2 meters apart with cones. On the whistle, they will perform chest pass with a 1 kilogram ball, performing 10 passes per set, 3 sets total with 30-second rest. Coaching cues are simple: maintain eye contact, legs shoulder width apart, hold the ball at chest level, engage the core, and catch softly. Progression includes increasing distance or weight once technique is correct, while regression use lighter balls or shorter distance to ensure inclusivity and safety. For the physical domain, this drill builds shoulder and chest strength safely, improves coordination between arms and core, and develops endurance without stressing joints. Bumpa explains that at this age, strength gains come mainly from neuromuscular adaptation rather than muscle size, so the emphasis is on technique and safe movement patterns. For the cognitive domain, athletes practice anticipation and decision making by following cues like eye contact and catching softly. Linking the drill to game situations help them understand how strength and technique support accurate passing under pressure. Wills and Fawcett highlight that decision making is a key part of the cognitive domain, and this activity connects physical preparation directly to tactical thinking. For the affective domain, progression and regression options keeps challenges achievable, while encouragement during sets build confidence and resilience. Bumpa and Buzzelli emphasize that inclusivity and confidence are key for long-term athlete commitment, and this activity supports that by promoting pro-social behavior. Pairing athletes encourages cooperation and support, breaking down cliques and strengthening team identity. Overall, this activity develops social strength, cognitive decision making, and affective confidence while reinforcing inclusivity and teamwork. In this slide, I will explain the rationale behind the medicine ball chest pass and how it aligns with key training principles and developmental considerations. First, the principle of progressive overload is applied. Athletes begin with a light medicine ball and only increases the distance or weight once proper technique is mastered. This ensures safe progression, prevents injury, and builds confidence. Bumpa and Buzzelli emphasize that overload must be gradual and controlled, especially for young athletes, so that strength gains are achieved without compromising safety. Next, the principle of specificity is demonstrated. The chest pass closely mimics the explosive pushing motion used in basketball and netball passing. Wills and Fawcett highlight that skill transfer is maximized when training movements mirror game situations. By practicing this drill, athletes not only strengthen their upper body but also learn how that strength training directly supports accurate passing under pressure in real matches. In terms of the window of trainability, at 12 years old, athletes are in the prepubescent stage where strength gains come mainly from coordination and technique rather than muscle size. Bumpa explains that this is due to neuromuscular adaptation, the nervous system learning to recruit muscles more efficiently. The medicine ball chest pass support this window by improving motor control and explosive movement safely, reinforcing proper patterns that will benefit athletes as they mature. Finally, according to the law of strength training, we train movements, not individual muscles. This chest pass requires athletes to engage the core and push with the arm in one smooth motion. This builds functional strength that transfers directly into throwing and passing in games. Because the medicine ball is light, athletes can practice the movement without heavy stress on their joints while still learning proper technique and coordination. To conclude, I have designed this activity that applies progressive overload and specificity, aligns with the window of trainability for prepubescent athletes, and followed the law of strength training by focusing on whole bodies and sports movement. Together, these considerations ensure that the drill is safe, effective, and relevant to sports performance, while also preparing athletes for long-term development. My coaching philosophy is to develop athletes who are competent, confident, and committed, while focusing on the principle of sports for all. This action plan is my strategy for the future, built from reflection on what worked and what needs improvement. To make athletes more competent, I will refine my training design by applying progressive overload carefully, ensuring technique is solid before increasing intensity. I will also keep drills game specific, following the law of strength training, so skills transfer directly into play. To build confidence, I'll shift towards task-oriented goals and give specific praise for effort. This helps athletes develop a growth mindset so they see progress even when outcomes aren't perfect. For commitment, I'll rotate partners to break cliques and encourage pro-social behavior. I'll reinforce discipline with short, clear cues with correct horseplay immediately, keeping the team focused and united under a strong we identity. In line with sports for all, I'll maintain regression and progression options, provide lighter ball choices, and monitor fatigue. This ensures every athlete, regardless of ability, feels safe, included, and challenged at their level. Finally, I will keep development holistic, not just physical but also cognitive and social. Every adjustment I make is aimed at shaping athletes who think, feel, and act like responsible team players. This action plan ties back to my philosophy where every step is about building athletes who are competent in skill, competent in themselves, committed to the team, and included in the journey of sports for all. To conclude, this reflection has reinforced that managing the affective and social sides of coaching, addressing self-efficacy, dips, and team cliques is just as vital as the technical training itself. It has firmly anchored my coaching philosophy to develop athletes who are competent, confident, and committed. By staying true to the sports for all approach, I ensure every athlete, regardless of ability, receives an inclusive and meaningful experience. I have connected this directly to the DMSP framework by prioritizing early sampling. I ensure these 12 years old enjoy the process while developing essential motor skills. For example, the medicine ball chest pass wasn't just a strength drill. It was a deliberate application of neuromuscular adaptation and specificity to build upper body power safely. Beyond the physical, I learned that structured management is key. Using task-oriented goals to rebuild individual confidence and partner rotation to break down cliques were essential strategies to move the team from forming to norming. Applying Gibbs' reflective cycle has shown me that coaching is a continuous evolution. Every stage, from analysis to my final action plan, provided a clearer picture of how to refine my delivery. My final vision is to foster holistic growth. I want my athletes to thrive physically, cognitively, and effectively, developing skills that serve them both on the court and in life. Thank you. These are the APA references for my slide.